A valence has chronic somatics. Now, the interesting thing about a valence, Elroy talks about this. This is a recent thing that I came across in his tapes. He says you can't handle the problems of a valence. A valence is like a salamander. You can pull its leg off, it grows along another leg. You know, you pull its tail off, it grows another tail. So when you have a PC that's, you know, he's a discouraged person, and you audit him and he now feels good. And he comes in and he's a discouraged person. And then he feels good. Now he's discouraged. You see his tail's growing back. Why is that? Why is it that you can handle some things on some people and other things you handle but they come back again? And the reason why is he's supposed to have it. He's supposed to have it because that's part of the package. So if you were to handle that on a list, you know, well, so, you know, because unhappy persons, that's just a characteristic. That's really not really the identity. You know, what past identity was unhappy. You would list that, something like that. And, you know, a repentant thief, you know, or an unrepentant thief. So, I don't know, who knows. Something like that. And you would finally be able to, you have to get the valence package and blow the valence. You can only, he says you can't handle the problems with valence, you can only handle the valence. And once you blow it, it's gone. And here's another interesting description of valence, kind of valence. He's talking about this guy who has a GPM on the subject of war. And he's an infantryman, and he's a brave boy going over the top, and he gets a raft of bullets in his chest. And just as he's going out, he notices that the war correspondent in the back lines is writing these lines, these deathless lines. And, you know, he's got some comfort and a little bit of whiskey. So he says, yeah, next lifetime I'm going to be a journalist, a war correspondent. That's the safe solution to a war. So he gets good at that, does that for many lifetimes, very happy, until one time people start to realize that war correspondents really are the cause of war. The wars got very unpopular, so they line him up against the wall and bullets through his chest, you know. And just as he's coming out there, you know, he's going, wow, you know, being a male in a war is really the wrong thing. I think I'm going to be some sort of a female in the war. Yeah, I'll be a Mata Hari. And it takes him a while to get used to this because he's not used to being a woman, so it isn't easy at first. But eventually he gets used to it, and he's Mata Hari, and you know, maybe even he always says this girl comes in for auditing, and she's very hard to audit. You know, she wants to get better, but she doesn't want you to handle anything that's actually bothering her. And he says that you know, she's very hard to get a withhold off of, but she always ends up getting withholds off you. She's Mata Hari. And she gets secrets, you know, as a spy. Not really, but she's preparing for the next war, you see. So people have these future identities, you know, they're space jockeys before they're spaceships. It's just valances. And the other thing that he related to valances is called circuits. And see, the difference between a valance and a circuit is a valance is something you are, and a circuit is something that talks at you or modifies you. A circuit modifies a valance. It upregulates it or downregulates it, enforces it or inhibits it. Just the other day I was auditing somebody, and they had a criticalness circuit. You know, it was always telling them that they were wrong and didn't know what they were doing and better think about it again. Yeah, it's pretty common, critical valance. Well, what will you, or it's a critical circuit, but what kind of valance would that modify? Well, a perfect valance. Somebody who's perfect. See, the valance is perfect, but the circuit reminds them they're not perfect. So, if you're trying to handle the circuit, you're only trying to handle half the problem. What's the circuit? How is the circuit a solution? And what valence is it as as a solution to. And those are some of the things that also blow on the L's too, because you get this whole hierarchy of subsidiary solutions to this big main GPM problem that you have. So anyway, it's so much fun to audit. I don't know, it's just, it's a sort of a simple procedure, but, you know, there's so many big wins. I mean, I audited for 38 years in the church, mostly grade auditing and book one, life repair, intro auditing. So when I learned how to do the L's and knots, well, this is great. You know, it was a whole new realm of auditing, and it was the most fascinating auditing I've ever done, and also really the biggest wins that people have had. That just short sessions every time that people just blown out. It's really quite amazing. One of the misconceptions that people have, like particularly on L10, is that you're going to find out all these terrible things you've done, because the data on that's floating around is it's all about overage, you know. Well, really, it's not all about overage. What's interesting about it, remember when I was saying that you've got the key thing is the identity. Well, you find an identity, you get the overage of that identity. See, the overages aren't basic. The identity is basic. And you only do the OWs to unburden the identity. So you can get the postulate or the purpose and blow it, and that blows the whole package. Once you do that on both sides of the package, it blows the whole package. And one of my favorite success stories was this woman named Yin. Some of you may have seen her success story. I audited her on her L11. Anyway, after we finished and she attested, I always announced people to anybody who's waiting in my living room. And so she said, yeah, well, she worked in this office and they used to always get this promo from Flag about the L's, and there was a guy on the cover, you know, who was like this. And she said, well, what's that all about, you know? And it was kind of annoying to her, really. She said, but now I finished my L11. You know, tying in with what Dexter was saying, it's an interesting question. I mean, if you didn't have any GPMs, you know, and I'm not sure it's an achievable point to say you have no GPMs. Maybe so. If you clear OT, you have no time track, you know, maybe you've got no GPMs. But you've got a few left, you got a few left. But in any case, what would life be like? Well, Ulrich says that your best games are really against the physical universe, but not really against other people. And so, yeah, what's wrong with universal goodwill? Like Dexter was talking about, you know. I think it's a good idea. And the other thing is, I had a friend who had a bunch of L's, and somebody asked him what he got out of it. He says, you know, when I need to do something, I just do it. Now, that was pretty profound. And one time somebody asked me too, and I had to think about it. I said, well, what does it feel like after? And I said, you know what? I feel really normal. So, once you've blown this kind of case, you're able to have a lot more continuation in your life, a lot more continuity. You have a continuity of self. You're you in different situations. You're not shifting around and being different people or different identities. You're just you all the time. And that really feels very normal. Anyway, is there any questions? Yeah?
You brought up that when you blow off one of these sort of synthetic penises you take on, the valance, that the knowledge experience kind of goes away because that's part of that valence. Does that mean, say, somebody is all-knowing university professor or something or other, then all of a sudden, he's got to go back to elementary school?
Well, no, because I don't think that would be, that probably wouldn't be the blowdown F and item. That's just his profession.
Okay, well, I realize he's not going to lose his service.
No. What's going to be the blowdown item? A know-it-all. That's going to blow.
Not phenomenal. Okay. Even with that identity to sit that gain back on.
Yeah, it's being a combination of different identities. But it's that one that's screwing him up, not his knowledge. It's his know-it-all attitude that's screwing him up. Yeah. All right, well, I really enjoyed speaking with you and look forward to the rest of the event.
Yeah.